Here are the video solutions for NCFE Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is Section B, which is the calculator section, and this is September 2020. So let's take a look at question 2a. What is the estimated cost? Now, I was a little bit confused with this question because I'm thinking because it says estimated cost, that I need to round some of these numbers, but the whole calculation is for the estimated cost. So it's simply just working out the value of 2,160 times 5 squared over 2 times 3. So all we need to do is just tidy this up first of all. Now the denominator is going to be 6, and on the top it's going to be 2,160 times 5 squared. Well, 5 squared, well, that is 5 times by 5, which is 25. And now on our calculator we just type in 2,160 times 25 divided by 6, or we can actually type in 2,160 divided by 6 times 25. It will still come out the same, and that should come out to a total of £9,000. Okay, on to part B. We want to work out the volume. Well, the volume is simply those three dimensions multiplied together. So 3.6 times 1.25 times by 1.6, and that comes to 7.2. And the unit is cubic meters. Well, they've given it anyway, so 7.2. Okay, so for this one we know that the loan is 5% per year, and it's simple interest, so therefore the interest amount remains the same. So we just need to work out, well, what is 5% of £5,000? Now, this is a calculator paper, however, I probably wouldn't use a calculator here just because it's actually easier. Well, 10% of £5,000 is £500. Just knock off a 0 because 10% is a tenth. So if 10% is 500, then 5%, well, 5% is half of 10%. So 5% of £5,000 is going to be half of 500, which is 250. So this is the interest per year. So 2 years is going to be 2 times by 250. So we're back up to £500 again. So the repayment is £5,000 for the kitchen, plus £500 in interest, so that comes to a total of £5,500. So that is the total that needs to be paid back. Okay, so for this question here, what we need to do is we need to round all of these to the nearest whole number. So 3.8 becomes 4, 2.6 becomes 3, 5.9 becomes 6, and 1.9 becomes 2. I'm going to divide this into two rectangles. So this is a 4 by 3, so 4 times 3, that is 12 square meters. We just need to work out this dimension here. Well, if it's 4 from here to here and 6 from here to here, then the difference, which is 6 take away 4, this must be 2. So here we have got a 2 by 2, so 2 times 2, well, that is 4 square meters. So the total area is 12 square meters plus 4 square meters, so 16 square meters. Okay, so for this question we know that £85 is 1/5. So if 1/5 is £85, then the full amount is going to be 5 times greater. So it's just 85 times by 5, and 85 times by 5 is £425. And again, we can work that one backwards. Divide that by 5, we get the £85. So £425. Okay, for E, so what I would do first of all is I would call this 1 hour 10, 120 minutes, well, that is just 2 hours. Actually, let me put in 40 minutes as 0, 40, and 95, that is 1 hour 35. So if we're starting at 1, let's add on the hours. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is 5 p.m. plus 10 minutes plus 40 minutes plus 35 minutes. So 5 plus 10 is 510. Actually, let's just add 10 plus 40 is 50. So I'm now at 5:50 p.m. and I need to add 35 minutes to that. Well, 5:50, that is 10 minutes before 6 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into a 10 and a 25. 5:50 plus 10 is 6. 6 plus 25 is 6:25 p.m. He thinks he'll finish by 6:30. Is he correct? Yes, he is. He's got 5 minutes to spare. Okay, so for 3A, he's spending 2/5 of this amount on accommodation. So what is 2/5 of £700? Here we're working out a fraction of the total. So we need to take our total, divide by the number on the bottom, and then multiply by the number on the top, and that comes to £280. And flights is 25%, or 25%, that is 1/4. So what is 1/4 of £700? Again, we're working out another fraction of a total. So it's just, although this is a bit easier, this is simply just £700 divided by 4, and that is £175. So we just need to add these two figures together. So 280 plus 175 is £455. So what has he got left over? Well, that is going to be the £700 minus the £455 on accommodation and flights to get his spending money, and that is £245. Okay, so for part E, what we need to do is draw a bar chart for this information. So we can see that it's already set up with the locations along the bottom. So up the side, it's going to be magnitude. And we can see that it goes from 7.8 to 9.1. So if it goes up to 9.1, I'm going to make that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and so that is 5. There was nothing lower than 5. Okay, good. So Peru was 8. So Peru is going to go all the way up to here, like so. So for this part, you should use a pencil and a ruler. Fiji is 8.2, so 2 little squares above that. Okay. I don't know why I'm shading them. You don't have to shade them in. Ecuador is 7.8, so that's 2 below the 8. So Ecuador, oops, I think I've just missed it there. There we go, that's more like it. Okay, there is Ecuador. And for Russia and Japan, 8.3 and 9.1. 8.1, 2, 3. And Japan was 9.1, so just above the 9. There we go. And as I say, using a ruler will make it look a bit tidier. There we go. So that's all we need to do. Okay, calculate the range of the magnitude. So remember that for the range, that is the biggest minus the smallest. So from the bar chart, we can easily see which is the biggest. So it's Japan minus Ecuador. So it is 9.1 minus 7.8. And that is 1.3. Okay, so for this question, rather than worrying about which fraction is bigger, let's just turn them into percentages. Town A is 1/10, so to turn a fraction into a percentage, it is top divided by bottom multiplied by 100. Although I'm hoping that quite a few of you will know that a tenth is 10%, so I'll just write the percentages up here. 1 divided by 5 times 100, that is 20%. 1 divided by 3 times 100 is 33.3 recurring percent. So which town is the most likely to be flooded? That is the one with the highest probability. So therefore it is town C. So H is asking about the probability of town A, which is 10% or a tenth. Okay, so let's just make a note that 0.1 or 10%. Okay, so we've got the probability scale 0 to 1. How many marks are there in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, so 20. Okay, normally I'll be expecting 10, but what we can clearly see is more than 10. So what that means is going up in 5%, so let's check that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, so remember 0, the probability scale is 0 to 1, but that we can turn it into 0 to 1%, and we want 10%. So 5% 10% is right there. Okay, so we want a 45% reduction. So if you're reducing something by 45%, then that means you need to work out 55% of the original amount. So we want 55% of 10 gigatons. Just to clarify what I've just said, if you're buying a pair of shoes, it's 10% off, you pay 90%. So if we're reducing by 45%, we need to work out 55%. Now the multiplier for 55% is 0.55 multiplied by 10, and hopefully we don't even need a calculator for that. The answer is simply 5.5. And that takes us to the end of the assessment. Okay, so question 3b, what we need to do is draw a line graph for this data. So what has been put in already? Well, okay, so the decision has already been made that days of the week are going across the bottom, which is where I would have put them anyway. So we need to do temperature. So up the side is going to be forecast temperatures in degrees Celsius for Paris. We'll make a bit of a shortcut here. I'll just put temperature degrees C. Now we need to somehow come up with a scale. So let's just look at our minimum and our maximum. So it goes from 15, oh that's quite handy, so 15 to 23. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, that's not going to work. But if this was 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, perfect. So if we go up in twos, we can fit them in. If we go up in ones, we won't. So I'll probably go up in, sort of start at a little bit below 15. I'll start at 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. I think it also makes more sense to label these with even numbers in my opinion, but I don't think it really matters if you started at 15, 17, 19 or 13, 15, 17, 19, as long as we can fit every number in. So Monday is 15, so Monday halfway between 14 and 16, so again it's normally there'd be a faint line in between, which there isn't, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. I'm going to do Tuesday and Wednesday together, so that's 17 and 17, so again that's halfway between 16 and 18. Thursday and Friday, 16, 16. And then we've got 22, 23. So Saturday 22, Sunday 23. There we go. Now, just to complete the line graph, we just need to, using a pencil and a ruler, connect all these dots, or all these X's in this case. As I can't stress enough the importance of using a ruler, although I've just about got away with it, but there we go. So that line graph is now complete. So for this question we need to calculate the mean, so that is going to be all of these values added together. Divided by the number of values, which is 7, because there are 7 days in the week. So all of that comes to a total of 126. So 126 divided by 7, and the answer is 18. So the mean temperature is 18 degrees Celsius. Okay, Simon has a luggage allowance of 23 kilos. He has already packed 18,400 grams, which is a bit of a strange way of expressing that weight. Now, we need to remember that a kilo is 1,000 grams. So if we're converting from kilos into grams, we multiply the number by 1,000. So if we're going in the other direction, we are dividing by 1,000. So let's turn this weight here in grams into kilos by dividing by 1,000. So 18,400 divided by 1,000 is 18.4 kilos. So he's allowed 23, he's already used up 18.4, so how many more can he pack? Well, that's going to be the difference. So 23 minus 18.4, and that is 4.6 kg. Okay, so for this one, we're just working out which one gives you the bigger discount. So offer 1, we want to work out, well, what is 15% of £40? Now, to work this out on a calculator, I'm going to type in 0.15 times by 40. 0.15, that is the multiplier for 15%. It is the decimal equivalent of 15%. It's 15 divided by 100, and that comes to a total of, that's £6. Offer 2 is 25% off, which is 1/4 off. So what is 1/4? of £25. Well, that's 25 divided by 4, and that comes to £6.25. So this £6.25 is bigger than £6, so offer 2 saves the most money. Okay, so what type of angle is this? So if it was going vertically up, which would be ridiculous for an aeroplane, of course, then that would be a right angle. So this is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, so that is an acute angle. So all we need to do here, we don't really need to worry about the context of this question. It's simply, this is the question here. What is 18.168 to 2 decimal places? So if we're rounding to 2 decimal places, we're interested in the value of the 3rd decimal place. If this number here is 5 or greater, then the column to the left will move up by 1. 8 is greater than 5, so the column will move up from a 6 to a 7, so that's 18.17. Okay, so what is this number in words? So if I just write this again up here, I doubt many people would struggle with this, but group them from right to left in 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now the first comma is for the word 1,000. So let's just read what we've got to the left of this. It's 1, so that is 1,000. And to the right we've got 154. So it's 1,154. Okay, so B, we just simply need to calculate 1/3 of 65700, so that's 657,000 divided by 3, and that comes to 219,000. Nice and easy. Okay, so what we need to do with this question is we're working out for 2019, so we need to add 9 to -4. So -4 plus 9 is 5. So we're converting 5 degrees Fahrenheit into Celsius using this. So first of all, we need to subtract 32. 5 minus 32 is -27. And now we just need to multiply -27 by 0.6. And we get -16.2. There we go. Okay, so for this one, we just need to pick out the biggest number. So 0.9, 0.8, 0.4, 0.9. Okay, so all of them start with 0 point something, so we're interested just in the 0.9s. Okay, so this is 0.9 with nothing else. So 0.97, that is bigger than 0.9. So let's get rid of 0.9. So it's all about looking at the second decimal place. Here I've got a 2, here I've got a 1, here I've got a 7. If you want to put the 0.9 back into the mix, you can give it a second decimal place of a 0. So we're looking at which one has got the biggest in the, well, this is the 100ths column. So 2, that's bigger than 1, so it can't be this one. 2 is not bigger than 7 though, so 0.97, and of course 0.97 is bigger than 0.90. I'd already eliminated that one anyway, so we can see that the answer is 1995.